A Christmas Gift for Chip. It was Christmas Eve at the castle. The enchanted objects didn't usually exchange gifts, but they loved to decorate the library and trim the tree. Belle was eager to help and placed a pair of shoes by the fire. When I was a little girl, my father and I would leave out our shoes on Christmas Eve for Papa Noel to fill with treats, Belle exclaimed. I'm a teacup, Chip said. I don't wear shoes. What if Papa Noel can't find me? Belle smiled. You might be a teacup now, but you weren't always. Do you have any of your old shoes lying around? Yep, Chip replied. All the enchanted objects do. Belle and Chip jumped into action. They raced from room to room, gathering up pairs of old shoes for Chip, Mrs. Potts, Lumiere, and Cogsworth. Once the pairs were gathered, Belle and Chip made their way back to the library. They neatly arranged the shoes in front of the fireplace, then took a step back to admire their work. A little while later, Mrs. Potts announced it was bedtime for Chip. But I'm not tired, Chip said, swallowing a yawn. Mrs. Potts and Belle exchanged smiles and tucked the sleepy teacup into the cupboard. As Chip settled in for the night, Belle thought about Christmas in the castle. The decorations were lovely, but she wanted to do more. She wanted Chip to have the best Christmas yet. Soon after, Belle and Mrs. Potts returned to the library to reunite with Cogsworth and Lumiere. I'd like to do something special for Chip, Belle said. Lumiere thought for a moment. Long before the master was turned into the beast, he was a little boy living in this castle, he explained. Many of his old toys are still in his childhood bedroom. Perhaps you could give one to Chip. Belle's face brightened. That's a wonderful idea, she cried. Belle made her way into the beast's childhood bedroom. It was gorgeous, a little bit, a bit messy. This chamber was hasn't been opened for years, Mrs. Potts said. It holds too many sad memories. But Belle was only partially listening. Her eyes were drawn to a set of toy carriages. These could be perfect, she whispered. Suddenly the beast burst into the room. How dare you enter in here? He shouted. Everyone shuddered with fear, but Belle refused to be intimidated. I was trying to find a gift for Chip, she said, finding her courage. He helped me share the Papa Noel tradition with the castle, and I wanted to reward him for his kindness. It's Christmas Eve after all. The beast had no patience for this. The room was off limits. Get out! He shouted. Faced with no other choice, Belle and the enchanted objects took refuge in the kitchen. But Belle couldn't stop thinking about the beast's actions. Is he always that unreasonable? Belle asked. Mrs. Potts tried to explain. Soon after he lost his mother, the master lost his favorite toy she'd ever given him, a white horse with blue eyes and a black mane. Out of sadness and anger, he closed up that room forever, along with his heart. Belle felt sorry for the beast, but she wouldn't be swayed. As the enchanted objects drifted off to sleep, Belle returned to the beast's childhood room. While searching for Chip's gift, she found a ball of string in an old music box. Then she, hap- then she happened upon a pair of the beast's shoes from when he was a boy. Setting the beast's shoes aside, Belle turned to the toys in front of her. With a little tinkering, she knew she could create something wonderful for Chip. As the daughter of an inventor, Belle had plenty of experience with things like this, and somehow working this way made her father feel close by. Belle lined up the carriages and tied them together with the string. Then she took apart the winding mechanism from the music box and put it into the first carriage. Belle worked long into the night, but finally finished. Now all she needed was something to wrap the gift with. Belle opened a drawer and found deep in the back a spool of red ribbon. But behind the spool, Belle discovered something even more precious. It was the beast's lost horse, the same one Mrs. Potts had described earlier. Ever so gently, Belle cradled the toy in her hands. You've been dearly missed, she said. It's about time you were found. Belle carefully placed the beast's shoes outside his door with the toy horse resting inside. She knocked, then slipped away. When the beast opened his door, he immediately recognized his long lost toy. Where did you come from? He asked. The beast could hardly contain this delight. Hiding behind a nearby pillar, Belle watched as the surprise melted the beast's anger into joy. Before heading off to bed, Belle stopped by the library. She placed the carriages by Chip's shoes, then hurried back to her room. She couldn't wait for the next day. The next morning, Christmas finally arrived. Belle and the enchanted objects flooded into the library. They usually enjoyed a cozy fire in their freshly decorated space, but this year something magical had happened. Well, bless my soul, Mrs. Potts exclaimed. She directed everyone's attention toward the fireplace. Each pair of shoes was filled with delicious treats and small surprises. Papa Noel did come, Chip shouted. He found us. Belle couldn't believe it. When she left the carriages for Chip last night, the shoes had been empty, but now every pair was full to bursting. Papa Noel bought us most of this, Belle said to the teacup, but the carriages are from me to you. Thanks for all your help yesterday. Wow, Chip replied. Thanks, Belle. Belle smiled and then revealed the final surprise. These may look like ordinary carriages, she began, but they're not. She took Chip and the carriages over to the floor by the Christmas tree. These carriages can move on their own, Belle explained. With the flip of a switch, the carriages drove by themselves. As if by magic, it was just so happened that the beast was outside the library looking at. Belle convinced the beast to join them, and everyone returned to the fireplace. I'm sorry, I was so angry yesterday, the beast confessed. I didn't see you get angry, Chip said. That's right, Beast said, turning to the young teacup. You did. But I heard you played a big role in bringing Papa Noel back to the castle. Chip blushed and hopped onto the beast's shoulder. Then the beast presented Chip with a toy horse from his youth. This horse is very special to me, and it needs someone very special to look after it. I was hoping that special someone could be you, the beast explained. I'd be honored, Chip replied. Potts wiped a tear from her eye, and Belle's heart swelled. It was the happiest Christmas that anyone could remember.